July is here, and intuitive astrologer Stevie Calista is back to tell us what the cosmos have in store for us. Let's get going. Hi, Stevie.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Very excited to have you here right now so you can help us navigate what's coming up for July, and we can touch on what we are leaving behind in June. It felt like such a strange month.
Yeah, June has offered many different types of energies, but I keep hearing the word recalibration. It's like we're recalibrating. And I really feel like a lot of the stuff that's not gonna carry over in our identity is being we're starting to grapple with it and kind of like accept it, I think.
Yeah.
There was a ton of shifts at the end of June.
I was just
So
going to say we had this full moon ending June, and really that energy, I would imagine, is bleeding into this beginning of July.
for sure, we basically left June on a full moon in Capricorn, right? And Mercury went retrograde. Um,
Yes.
right. And then Jupiter moved into Leo on the 30th. So it was from the 28th to the 30th, there were all these shifts that happened at the same time. So I think it's July when we're going to be like really feeling that energy. And something interesting that we didn't talk about in June is that Jupiter being in Leo, it's also going to be joining the South Node. And that hasn't happened for a really long time, that combination. Jupiter is normally very expansive, right? And he brings like gifts and truth and he expands things. He sometimes overdoes things too, right? He exaggerates things. So in general, Jupiter usually feels really good wherever he's traveling in your chart. But because he's going to hit the South Node for the next 18 months, next year, he's going to ask us to really let go. The South Node is this placement that's like, what are you letting go of? What's not serving you anymore? Where are you getting stuck? What's the baggage here? And so I think the South Node and Jupiter together, it's going to be an interesting combination. It's going to exaggerate the shadow of Leo, which
Mm,
is, egoism and doing things out of authenticity for attention or for like your inner child's going to be quite loud. I think it's a really cool combination though, because Jupiter is going to help us expand and let go of what needs to. So that's just something that I was noticing over these last couple of weeks, that pattern. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting one. Usually Jupiter isn't with the South Node hanging out. It's
yeah.
a unique combination.
Well, and it actually feels like it makes sense given what I think most of us have felt in June. There has been this focus on letting go. I think what you said, recalibrating, is the right word because it captures so much of, I think, what happened in June was this burst of change for a lot of us.
Yeah,
And then it was kind of like integrating that. And so as we enter July, we're in that energy. And so the
for
fact
sure.
that Jupiter, which as you said, it's like just makes everything even more
Even more.
pronounced.
Exactly. So we're going to start integrating is a good word in July with all the different shifting energies. But with Mercury being retrograde, basically until the 23rd of July, this month is a month to slow down. It's interesting because we have this new fire and air energy that we're all feeling, right? So we feel this push and this newness, but then Mercury is saying like, whoa, 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 like you have to tend to your home, to your hearth, to your family, to your emotions, and slow it down.
Mhm.
Like slow it down and connect with your feelings and your heart. So that's the biggest invitation of July is to slow down, be with family, be in your home. It's kind of introverted,
Yeah, and because it's Cancer season
right?
still.
It's Cancer season.
And I
Exactly.
find it really interesting. We were talking before we started taping today. You're going on a 10-day camping trip so that you can be in nature. And I think there's a lot of us that may be feeling called to get quiet. That's really like what I know for me personally. I
Yeah.
keep thinking in this next week or two, that's all I want to do.
Yeah. It's like reading a book in the
Yeah.
bathtub. It's very nesty. It's
Definitely, definitely.
cozy. Like get cozy.
And you're almost being forced. I think what's also funny is that Karen was supposed to be part of this conversation and her Wi-Fi just stopped working. So
Yeah,
all part of Mercury retrograde
for
and
sure.
this reminder that everyone needs to just take it down a notch.
Take it down a notch, chill the F out. And Jupiter moving into Leo now, Mercury being retrograde, coming off of a full moon. This is a time where we're integrating the new energy and we're also thinking about like what are our goals for our family? What are our goals for ourselves? How can we set up our foundation, which is very much Cancer, right? Like the hearth, the home, so that we can accomplish what we want to accomplish. And the Capricorn full moon at the very end of the month in June, it was a pretty serious one, right? It is asking you to like take responsibility. And so if you can take some extra time to really tend to your home.
Yes.
And Cancer season is a season when a lot of us are with our families.
Yeah,
It's,
we
you know,
talked about that because I know we
right.
touched on it in June, talking
Yep.
about July 4th even, and this week
Yep.
that we're starting. So that makes sense because most of us have time off, so you can be with your family.
Yeah. And I think, Cancer is a very watery, emotional feeling type of sign. So if you can, I know summers can be super busy. If you can, make sure you carve out time for chill days. Like if you're on vacation with your family, like don't try to push it all in these first 3 weeks of July because it's not going to work. Things are going to get really hectic and there's going to be big feels from people and then there may be miscommunications. And so if you can lean into this backward flow of like the slowdown, it will very much benefit you. So take some things off your schedule if you can.
So, okay, so then what do we have as we enter with this full moon energy?
Yeah.
What,
So the biggest thing this weekend, it's probably going to feel like the biggest thing is Mars and Uranus coming together in Gemini
oof.
on July 4th.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
so let me explain the two planetary energies and then Gemini, and you can kind of sandwich this together. Mars is action, drive, masculine, push, passion, action. Like we want to go forward. We want to take action with Mars. He's a trigger planet. So when he triggers another planet, he almost like sets a little explosion of, oh, you really feel it. It's very physical. With Uranus, it's all about liberation, freedom, rebellion, authenticity. It's like doing the thing that feels the most right, even if it's not what you thought it would be. It's change. And so when you have a trigger planet hit the planet of change and sudden breakthroughs, you're gonna feel this electricity. And in Gemini, especially, this is an air sign, right? You got to think about Gemini like the data collector with the clipboard, always asking questions and taking in data and, something shiny. And it's the ADHD sign of the zodiac. That's Gemini. And it's also incredibly brilliant at curiosity and taking in information and changing your mind,
Yeah.
changing your
Yeah.
perspective. So be really open to having something come your way that you did maybe not expect that is going to change how you take action and change how you see things during this week. And just from an external point of view, like it's spicy, guys. Like this is a lot of astrologers are talking about this week because Mercury retrograde, but then this energy is very much, just don't, it's unpredictable.
Strange that it's on July 4th for those of us in the States.
Yeah, it's like disclosure, UFO disclosure energy. That's what this is giving. So,
Oh,
also, the word that I keep hearing from my guides around this is discernment. Just like make sure that because when we have Gemini energy, there's a lot of data coming in, and we're not always clear about what is our truth and what's not our truth.
yeah,
So,
that's a great way of putting it.
feel into the body there and ground as much as possible during this because this is very like tornado-y, just electrical kind of energy.
Which is so interesting, as we were saying, that we're in this time of Mercury retrograde, which is to slow down, and then you have this major spark.
Yeah. And for me, like what this energy feels like is putting your phone in a box and completely detoxing from information digitally. Like if you think about Uranus as like, screw it, I want to be free from that. And Mars is like, oh, take action. This is what it feels like for me. I know a lot of my clients have been feeling that way of just like, oh, I just need it's information, overwhelm, right? Like I can't breathe.
I
This
feel
is a
that.
really good week to take a digital detox, guys. Like very good week.
Okay. I'm hearing that loud and clear. So I'm hoping others are too. And I guess we'll see what happens.
Right. And we mentioned this in June because we were already feeling it at the end of
Correct.
June.
That's
Like,
right.
yeah. And this is a longer peak. And then we're going to feel this for a week or so after.
Okay. That's helpful. Obviously, that's the biggest thing for entering July in this first week. Anything else?
That's it for the first week, but it will
Okay.
definitely be loud.
It will definitely be loud.
It will definitely be loud. Yeah.
Okay.
The second week of July, which is the 6th through the 12th, on the 7th, Neptune is retrograding. which means that we're going to feel Neptunian energy then, right? So we'll feel this Mercury, then Uranus, then we're going to feel
Yeah.
Neptune. Neptune is very floaty, dreamy, detached, escapist, mystical, spiritual, creative type energy. And so if you feel like you're floating on a cloud this week, that's why. It's in Aries, so this is very physical. And this is definitely a week where the outer planets, guys, they're retrograde almost 6 months out of the year. This isn't like a Mercury retrograde that's, oh my God, all the planets are retrograde. This is most of you or half of you were born with this. So it's not out of the ordinary. But when they station like this, when they change from one direction to the other, is when they're really just loud. That's when you feel them the most. So ground again, or like get into water and float and write poetry and listen to music and like just jump on that Neptunian wave. But watch out for really feeling like a victim this week. Neptune can, in its shadow, can tend to be like, poor me. And sometimes we need to feel poor me, and that's totally fine. But it can get swept up into the story and become part of our identity that we don't necessarily want to. It's not super authentic. Do you know what I'm saying? So just be aware. Ride the waves, but be careful of escaping too much or allowing the story to become so real that your identity then believes it.
I think that's a great watch out.
Yeah, just watch out.
It also is so interesting that we enter that after such a fiery,
And we're still going to be feeling it at that point,
yeah,
for sure. The other two things I have, one is that Venus will be moving into Virgo on the 9th. Venus is our feelings, our desires. She is how we find pleasure, beauty, etc. And in Virgo, she is the organize the pantry type Venus, you know? Oh, I gotta make my planner really pretty and like do my notes and I need to organize things and make my plan. And she likes to be productive. It feels good to be productive. It's not like I have to, like Saturn. She's more like, ooh, doesn't that pantry look so beautiful because I organized her?
ooh, I like this energy.
Yeah, yeah, I love Venus and Virgo. So yeah, we're all going to be a little bit more cooperative and organized and interested in feeling more productive after
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
And that lasts about 3 weeks. So
Yay.
if you need to do something in your home
I do.
again,
I
right?
do. This
Yeah.
is what it's making me think. I'm like,
Yeah.
I definitely need that little extra
Yeah.
oomph.
I love Venus in Earth sign because she feels good doing what she's doing. She's not doing it out of guilt or shame or anything, you know? So yeah, for these next 3 weeks after the 9th, it's a really good time to like go clean your basement or go purge or and if you're thrifters, you guys, this is probably when you're going to see the thrift stores have really good stuff because people are going to be like, I just want to
Yeah, that makes
get rid
total
of things. I always think about that as being a thrifter.
totally. My goodness. We're already feeling that a little bit in
Are
our
you? Yeah.
yeah.
And Cancer energy can definitely bring the attention to your home so much so that you're like, how do I make this better? And then on the 12th, the Sun and Mercury meet up, still in retrograde for a brand new Mercury cycle. Think of this as like a Mercury's new moon. And so whenever we have a Mercury retrograde, the Sun and Mercury meet together and they start a new cycle. So this is a 4 month long cycle. If there is some seeds you want to plant, you don't have to, but working with the planets is helpful. Like, say you want to start your book, right? Like, you want to start writing again, or you want to start something mental, something in communication, something with the mind. It's a really good time to think about, like, ooh, what do I want to start for these next 4 months? And riding that wave is beneficial. By the time Mercury is at its full moon, basically, that's how I like to think
Yeah,
about it.
I like that you're putting that. I never thought of it that way.
2 months from this point, you'll start to, something will be illuminated that you'll be like, oh, I gotta pivot or integrate, or now I gotta sweep it up. And so we go through these 4 month long cycles with Mercury, and it starts on the 12th.
That's really cool. So that like
Yeah.
September-ish,
Yeah.
we'll bring it back up and
Yeah.
say, let's see where you are.
Exactly. So that's this week. It's a mixed bag. July is a very mixed bag.
Feels like it.
Yeah.
It really does.
For sure. And also, just to remind you, the 6th through the 12th, like with Neptune and Mercury, those energies can feel very much like trickster energy.
Okay.
Like your mind can really like, take you on a story. So as always, like what I always say is just like coming back to your body, right? And like not letting the mind drive the bus. So that will be beneficial too. It is kind of trickstery.
Remember that, everybody.
Yeah. Then the third week, we have a new moon in Cancer on the 14th. And this one is conjunct Mercury retrograde. So we'll have Sun, Moon, Mercury in Cancer. With Mercury starting a new cycle and then a new moon a few days later, this is very fertile. If you think about Cancer as the cosmic mother, because she's birth itself, right? She's the mother in general, she's the earth mother, she's all of it. If you have garden for sure, like it's a really good time to tend to your garden or plant seeds for the fall or whatever, but also it's just really good time to think about your feelings and think about like what you need to nourish yourself in this next lunar cycle and planting those seeds. And because of Mercury retrograde, it's not necessarily like going to happen right now. This is very reflective.
Okay.
Like, and Mercury retrograde, as you guys know, this is like review, revisit, refine. You're backing up and you're kind of going through some stuff that needs to be tended to that you might not have had time for before. So this is the time where you want to, as you've been reflecting, think about that.
Oh,
What
that's
kind of
good.
seeds intent, and what I mean by seeds is just like intentions,
Yeah,
right?
I think that's so helpful, especially reminding people when we're talking about this Mercury retrograde period, looking back in the last several months before it actually started to retrograde. I know for me personally, I had so much going on at the end of April and in May, and most people I talked to had major stuff going on. And so if you can think back to that time where you didn't really have time necessarily to unpack it. This is the time.
Exactly.
This is that invitation to do
100%.
that. That's
This is
really,
the time to tend to your roots, to tend to your
that's
nervous system,
cool.
to feel whatever you need to feel, to look back and be like, holy shit, that happened.
A lot of us will be doing that.
Yeah. And if this, when we talk about this type of astrology, if you're not at least kind of doing those things, tending to your roots and like your nervous system, you're going to feel it more so, right? So the
Yeah.
cosmos like push this energy down onto us and say, and then we're like, we're still trying to do our thing and it's not the time to do that thing. And so it makes it harder.
Yeah.
But don't make July harder on yourself because
Yeah.
it will feel like that if you're trying to be normal or push push.
That's right. That's why this is so helpful. A lot of this, we're telling you in detail more about it, but you're going to feel it. Like
Yeah,
without even knowing what we're talking about on these specific days, what's validating is that you could listen to this at any point during the month and you'll be like, "Oh my God, yeah, I totally felt that." So if you're listening to this at some point later in July, you're going to be like, oh my goodness, that completely did happen to me that first week
totally.
or second week.
Yeah. So it's a really good time if you're journalers or things like that. It's a good time to journal some stuff.
Yeah.
And the other thing about this is the moon's new moon. The moon is Cancer, right? So the moon is ruled by Cancer. And so there's no ruler of this new moon. So this is like a very thin veil, potent new moon. It's like the new moon of all new moons. Do you know what I'm saying? Every time we have a new moon in Cancer, it's just really important. It's
Wow.
the moon's home. So just saying. It's pretty important. And then the South Node is conjunct Venus at this time too. And so I wonder if this date, right around the 14th, we're going to get some clues about letting go of some stuff because Venus is our feelings, our desires, etc. And the South Node is where we can tend to get stuck or where karma lives from past lifetimes. And so I wonder if that will give us a taste of what this next year will be like with Jupiter being in the sign that the South Node is in. And it feels like you're going to get a clue about something that you need to feel or let go of during this time.
So remember that, everybody, July 14th.
Yeah. And a couple days before and
Yes,
after.
that's right.
Some people very sensitive feel it even before that. Yeah. So yeah, that's the third week.
Wow. Okay. And that's really in the middle too.
Yep.
All right.
So the 20th through the 26th is when Mercury stations, and you'll start to feel the squeeze again, right? Just like at the end of June. Mercury goes direct actually on the 23rd. So you'll feel that energy of technology glitches or miscommunication, maybe, or maybe this will be the second or third time you have a conversation and it actually hits this time. Maybe there's integration, but you're definitely going to feel a little mentally frazzled because of Mercury this week. The other thing about July in general is that we have Jupiter trining Neptune, and that is so harmonious. There is this wave of harmonious energy over this entire month, and it's exact on the 20th, and it's also opposite Pluto. and sextile Uranus. All these words just mean that the outer planets are doing this dance that's really helping us find ease and flow.
Okay.
So, and also when we talk about ease and flow in astrology, we have to sort of engage with it. It doesn't just show up on our doorstep like a tension planet would be like, hey, you have to deal with this. This is more like, oh, I can kind of ride these waves of expansion and have these aha moments and kind of go through like parts of the soul cycle that is transitional or transformational in a way that's like not having to push a boulder up a mountain. It's not going to be challenging. Not saying this month is not going to be challenging, but there is this overall energetic bubble of ease. So this is the week where it perfects, it exacts. And so I wonder if something during this week will feel supportive.
Well, we
Yeah.
could all use that.
Yeah.
And you said, and this is July 20th.
Yeah, the 20th is when it's exact, and the 21st, those 2 days.
Got it.
And those are the last couple of days of Cancer season. On the 22nd, the sun goes into Leo, and we start Leo season, which the sun is home in Leo, very much is comfortable there. And Leo season is all about play and fun and joy and leisure and creativity and connecting with your inner child. And so that's when we start that season. And the other thing about this week is that on the 26th, we have Saturn stationing retrograde. So Mercury and Saturn will be stationing at the same time, and they're in a square with each other. So while there is this ease bubble, and you have to remember with astrology, guys, there's these sandwiches, right? There's this energy and then this energy.
That's right. That's
You'll
right.
feel this one sometimes, and you'll feel that one. So the second week of June, we had Mercury square Saturn. And I think we talked about it. I'm not sure. That was intense for people. There was Venus and Jupiter were together during that week. And I remember everybody talking about how beautiful that energy is. And then I had people being like, what is going on? This is supposed to be
Yes.
so beautiful. But Mercury and Saturn, and I apologize if I didn't notice this. I don't usually do these like minor aspects, but that was loud. People had headaches,
Yeah.
migraine, like it was intense. So, not saying this week is going to be the same as the second week of June, but there is this underlying nag, this underlying like responsibility to be taking, or something that you need to face, or a conversation you need to have, or a feeling that you need to allow your body to feel. It's a different energy because all the other things are different about this, not the same as the second week of June. But those two planets stationing in square to each other, they're kind of like really slowed down and stilling something for us.
Wow.
So with squares, there's challenge. With that, there's change.
Right.
So
That's true.
while this energy of this week has a lot of flow and beauty, it also has that. And I wonder if we're going to feel that the most. I'm
Oh,
not
that'll be
sure.
interesting for us to talk about
I'm not
come
sure.
back for August. But
Yeah,
yeah, I agree. I'm glad we have the heads up, is what I would say, because those are
for sure.
very different energies. And to be feeling that and have to be in it because of the idea that we get a little bit still.
For sure.
And so you feel it more, right? So it can maybe
Right.
a little uncomfortable because you're facing it, but it also means you're ready to.
And the thing about Cancer and Aries, which is where the square lives, Aries is the head, it's the eyes. So if you're feeling it, so many of my clients and friends were like, why am I feeling? I remember pushing on my third eye and being like, just like relieved. There's just pressure here. So if you are feeling it in your head and it's fire, ice packs, cool baths, getting into water, like doing things to like cool your head down because there's a lot of pressure in that. And, Cancer is the lungs and it can feel like grief. And so if there's a wave of something that becomes very physical this week that needs to be felt and released through the lungs or through the tears or, give yourself
Allow.
time. Yeah, allow. So the 27th through the 31st is the last week. And there's a couple of things here. On the 27th, we have the north and south nodes changing for the next 18 months.
Wow, that's a big deal, which people may not realize.
Very big deal.
Yeah.
So, just looking back, we've had the North Node in Pisces, the South Node in Virgo. And so, North Node is where we're being pushed, South Node is what we're being asked to be faced and let go of, and usually see the shadow. So, we've been working on being and doing, right? Allowing, surrendering. We went in Piscean waters of that state of where everything is a dream and a belief, right? And Virgo says, like, why are you trying so hard? Why do you feel like you're not enough? Why are you shooting yourself to death? You need to stop forcing it and let the energy speak for itself, right? We've been doing that for 18 months, it's a long time. That's where the eclipses have been. So when we're talking about the node shifting, they're not planets, guys. They're like these are points from the moon. We talk about the soul invitation shifting now for the next 18 months. So North Node's going to be in Aquarius, which is all about community, how you belong to the group, innovation, how we do it best for everybody collectively. It's the collective. And also Aquarius is astrology, right? Living off the grid, doing things as the rebel would do, like being the black sheep. So you're going to notice that we really get pulled into these Aquarian type energies. The South Node in Leo, which we're going to see the shadow of Leo, is going to say, like, but what about me? And why don't I belong to a group? And I am lonely and I need attention. And I want to be seen and I want to be on stage. And also, it can be like, I want to push myself to join a friend group or to join a community or join a cause. Like, I'm sick of my heart feeling so heavy and like I can't do anything about it. And now I'm going to. We're going to join, right? So, these themes are, you're going to see these play out for the next 18 months. It's a massive shift.
Oof. It's big energy. It really is. That'll be very interesting to see how it plays out. I'm sure we'll be talking about it over the next 18
For
months.
sure. And
It's,
now Jupiter's in Leo too. So, we're going to see that
yeah,
as
there's a lot of Leo
yeah.
energy. And then especially that it's happening in Leo season.
Right. And if you're into astrology, go take a look at where Aquarius and Leo are in your chart, what houses those are in, and you'll see like where you'll be pushed and pulled, where that shows up. Because it shows up differently for everybody, right? So
Yeah. And what Stevie's talking about is like, could be in your career, it could be in your home. There's different, could be with money. Who knows?
exactly. I'm
Wow.
looking forward to that shift though, just for something new. And it's like
Totally. Yeah, I agree with you.
the other thing about this week is on the 29th, we have a full moon in Aquarius. So the moon will be in Aquarius, the sun will be in Leo. It's at 6 degrees. This one is opposing Jupiter. So this is going to give us like more idea of what these next 12 to 18 months are going to feel like for us. So really pay attention. And the moon is conjunct Pluto on this one. So while the North Node's in Aquarius, Pluto's still in Aquarius and will be for many years. So we're all working through the collective shadow of like, how do we make a difference? And like, how do we get power back to the people? And how do we innovate together? And what do we do? So this full moon is going to probably initiate, is what it feels like, change, transformation, maybe action being taken by your community or like, oh, I want to join this thing or I want to make a difference or I want to hang out with my friends or there's just something about this that feels very communal, but in a Plutonian way, meaning there's transformation here. If the outside world is loud during this time, I would not be surprised. So again, use discernment as to where you're getting information and how you're letting the outside affect the inside and how that makes a difference in the actual local communities that we live in.
Wow. Yeah, that's a very illuminating way and loud way to end the month.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I
Yeah.
mean, so interesting that we're ending the month in that way from the time that we start July. To me, that July 4th date is really sticking with me as something that will be a loud energy because I always think of full moons as illuminating something both for yourself and for the collective. It's a very loud month in that way, even though there's that invitation, especially in the beginning, to get more quiet.
Yeah.
Such kind of extreme. And
It is. You'll probably be like, what is happening? Why is it all over the
I
place?
know. But I love what you also said and setting all of us up to think about with that North Node going into Aquarius and then having this full moon in Aquarius at the end of the month. There is something to be shown for you and for the collective as we move forward. And so pay attention to what comes up. This was chock full. July is it's a big month. Feels like longer because I know it's 31 days, but it just
Might feel like that too.
feels a
Just
bit,
yeah,
right?
it definitely because of, we have 3 planets stationing, Mercury's retrograde, that can pull time, can stretch
Ah,
time.
that makes sense.
So it might feel kind of long.
Wow. Well, thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you for giving us the roadmap.
Sure, my pleasure.
And we want to hear from you. So as things come up, whether you DM us, you can join the Seeking Center community at seekingcentercommunity.com. Stevie is actually going to be in the community for a live event on Wednesday, July 22nd. So you can join, you can see what Stevie's going to bring to the table on that Wednesday, which I'm sure she's going to give us kind of an update on what's going on. She may even do a few mini readings. And you can visit steviecalista.com to find out more about working with her. You can also check out her Substack, Letter from the Stars, and you can follow her at Farmhouse Moon on Instagram. So lots of ways to connect.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stevie.
My pleasure.